In the vibrant town of Amadi, nestled amidst red dusty roads and bustling markets, there stood a peculiar salon called Glorious Touch. It was painted in bright yellow with green accents, making it stand out from the other plain shops lining the street. Above its entrance, in bold, handwritten letters, was the shop's motto: "Beauty without mirrors." It was a curious name for a salon, and the motto raised even more questions. No mirrors? How could anyone visit a salon and not see their reflection? Yet, despite the absence of mirrors, or perhaps because of it, Glorious Touch was the busiest salon in town. People traveled from far and wide to sit in Madame Nkechi's chair, leaving transformed in ways they didn't fully understand. Inside, the salon buzzed with life. Women and girls filled the room, their chatter mingling with the rhythmic sound of combs and the soft hum of dryers. The air smelled of coconut oil, shea butter, and the faint floral scent of freshly washed hair. The walls were adorned with bright paintings of African women in intricate hairstyles, and a large calendar of an old Nollywood actress hung behind the counter. Yet, despite the colorful decorations, there was one glaring absence: mirrors. Not a single reflective surface hung on the walls or sat on the counters. Customers sat facing the room, chatting with each other, their backs turned away from where a mirror would typically hang. Madame Nkechi, the owner of Glorious Touch, was as unique as her salon. She was a tall, regal woman in her mid-40s, with dark brown skin that glowed as though she carried the sun's warmth with her. Her head was always wrapped in a vibrant gelly, and her hands, which seemed to hold magic, moved with the precision of an artist. Nkechi had an aura of wisdom about her. Her deep brown eyes seemed to hold secrets, and her customers trusted her completely. She was not just a hairdresser, she was a friend, a confidant, and, to many, a healer. But there was one thing she never allowed in her shop: mirrors. Whenever someone asked about it, she would smile and say, "The beauty you seek isn't in a mirror, it's in how you carry yourself." Mirrors can lie, but confidence cannot. The answer satisfied most people, but there were always whispers. Some thought the rule was strange, while others believed there was something mystical about Nkechi and her salon. One Saturday morning, the shop was busier than ever. The chairs were full, and the women waiting their turn sat on benches, laughing and gossiping. As Madame Nkechi carefully twisted braids into Auntie Nikki's hair, the door opened, and a new face walked in. She was tall and elegant, dressed in a flowing lace gown. Her gold jewelry sparkled under the sunlight, and her shoes clicked sharply against the tiled floor. The chatter in the room died down as everyone turned to look at her. "Good morning," the woman said, her voice commanding attention. "I am Mrs. Osas, and I've heard about this salon. I want my hair done." "Welcome, madam," Nkechi said with a warm smile. "Please, have a seat." Mrs. Osas looked around, her sharp eyes scanning the walls. "Where are the mirrors?" she asked, frowning. "We don't use mirrors here," Nkechi replied calmly. "Don't use mirrors?" Mrs. Osas repeated, her tone incredulous. "How do your customers know what you've done to their hair? How do they trust you?" Nkechi placed her hands on the back of the chair and said, "If you sit in my chair, you'll see the results when I'm finished. But more importantly, you'll feel it. My work speaks for itself." The women in the salon murmured in agreement, but Mrs. Osas crossed her arms. "I don't like it. I need to see what you're doing to my hair while you're doing it. Bring me a mirror." "I'm sorry, madam," Nkechi said, her voice steady but firm. "If you cannot trust me, perhaps this is not the salon for you." The room fell silent. All eyes were on Mrs. Osas, who stood frozen for a moment. Then, with a huff, she sat down. "Fine. But if I don't like it, everyone in this town will hear about it." Nkechi simply nodded and began her work. As Nkechi worked on Mrs. Osas's hair, her assistant, Didi, watched closely. Didi had been working at Glorious Touch for 2 years, but there was one thing she had never fully understood: why Nkechi had banned mirrors. She had heard whispers, of course. Some said Nkechi was hiding a disfigurement. Others claimed she used juju to make her customers look beautiful. Diddy didn't believe the rumors, but she couldn't deny her curiosity. That evening, as they closed the shop, she decided to ask. "Madam," Diddy began hesitantly, "why don't we use mirrors here? The customers ask all the time." Nkechi paused, her hands resting on the counter. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she turned to Diddy, her expression soft. "Do you really want to know?" "Yes, madam." Nkechi sighed and gestured for Diddy to sit. "Let me tell you a story." Nkechi began, her voice heavy with emotion. "When I was a young girl, I loved mirrors. I would spend hours staring at myself, picking apart my face, my hair, my skin. I thought beauty was everything, and if I could just look perfect, my life would be better. But one day, when I was 19, everything changed. There was a fire in my family's house. I was caught in the flames, and although I survived, the fire left scars on my arms, my back, and my face." Diddy's eyes widened. "Madam, I never knew." Nkechi nodded. "For years, I avoided mirrors. Every time I saw my reflection, all I could see were my scars. I thought my life was over. Who would hire me? Who would marry me? I became a prisoner of my reflection." She smiled faintly. "But then, my mother said something that changed my life. She told me, Nkechi, your worth is not in your reflection. Your beauty is in how you make others feel. It's in your kindness, your strength, your heart." Diddy listened intently as Nkechi continued. "It wasn't easy, but I began to see myself differently. I stopped focusing on my scars and started focusing on what I could do. That's when I discovered my gift for hairdressing. I realized that when I made other women feel beautiful, it brought me joy." She gestured around the room. "When I opened this salon, I decided I didn't want mirrors. I wanted my customers to focus on how they feel, not just how they look. I want them to leave here knowing their worth doesn't depend on their reflection." Across town, Chioma, a rival hairdresser, was losing customers to Glorious Touch. Chioma's shop was filled with mirrors, flashy decor, and big promises, but her customers complained that her work lacked the magic of Nkechi's. Driven by jealousy, Chioma began spreading rumors. "They say Madame Nkechi does not use mirrors because she's hiding something. Maybe it's juju. Or maybe she doesn't want you to see what she's really doing to your hair." The rumors spread, and some customers stopped coming to Glorious Touch. But Nkechi remained calm. "The truth will always reveal itself," she told Diddy. One day, a group of skeptical customers decided to sneak a small mirror into the salon. When Nkechi finished styling their hair, they pulled out the mirror and gasped. What they saw was more than just a beautiful hairstyle. Their reflections seemed to glow with confidence. It wasn't just their hair that looked transformed, it was how they carried themselves. One of the women, Kemi, turned to Nkechi with tears in her eyes. "I've never felt this beautiful before," she said. Nkechi smiled. "That beauty was always there. You just needed to see it in yourself." Even Chioma, the rival hairdresser, eventually grew curious. She visited Glorious Touch in disguise, hoping to uncover Nkechi's secret. After Nkechi styled her hair, Chioma admitted who she was. "I came to prove you wrong," she said, "but I can't deny it, I feel different." Nkechi nodded. "Beauty isn't about the mirrors or the hair. It's about how you feel inside. That's what I help my customers find." Over time, the rumors died down, and the people of Amadi came to appreciate the true purpose of Glorious Touch. It wasn't just a salon, it was a place of transformation, where women learned to see their inner beauty and value. Madame Nkechi's philosophy spread far and wide. True beauty comes from within. Confidence is more powerful than outward appearances. Kindness transforms not only others but also yourself. And so, Glorious Touch remained the busiest salon in Amadi, not just because of its beautiful hairstyles but because every customer left feeling radiant, confident, and truly beautiful. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more intriguing African stories.